Hey guys, it's Siobhan with The Kitty and Beyond. Welcome back to my channel. This is a long-awaited another episode of Starseed Origins in the Starseed Origin series. This episode will be focused on Hadarians. So Hadarians come from Hadar, and their energetic signature is extremely loving. So it's not uncommon for Hadarians to incarnate on Earth and have a little bit of difficulty with human society, with the 3D reality, and with the type of love that we display here within the human collective. Now, that's not to say that humans aren't capable of unconditional love. I think we're one of the species that definitely are. It's just that Hadarians come from a society and a world where love is explicitly unconditional. There is no such thing as conditional love. It's not something that their collective experiences or understands because they've grown to a place of complete and utter transparency. So that unconditional love vibration is all that remains once all of the other aspects of love have been removed. So Hadarians are, first and foremost, extremely loving. When they incarnate into human incarnations as starseeds here, they may feel a little bit dissatisfied by the type of love within human relationships because oftentimes it's not the same as what they experienced on Hadar. Hadarians can struggle with the concept of conditional love here on Earth as well. Sometimes they can really fall into codependent tendencies or programming, and they can struggle with saying no. Sometimes Hadarian souls, if they don't have firm boundaries and a concept of what boundaries look like, they may become almost like doormats where again, those codependent and enmeshed tendencies can take over, and they have a really difficult time getting to the basis of conditional versus unconditional love. And now the key thing to remember here is that conditional love here on Earth can be an aspect of unconditional love. Now, hear me out. Conditional love in and of itself is not always the highest expression of love. However, we do need to be conditional sometimes when it comes to our own personal boundaries and self-love. So conditional love for other people is never recommended, and I do not condone that. However, conditions that we place upon ourselves so that we have our needs met, so that we are safe, and so that we are able to efficiently love ourselves, that's important. Setting conditions on what you will allow others to do to you, for you, through you is very important, because if we don't set any conditions, then we don't have boundaries. And if we don't have boundaries, then we don't have self-love. And if we don't have self-love, then we can't have unconditional love within relationships. So this is the kind of roundabout way that Hadarians have to come to understand the type of love that we have here on Earth. And sometimes that can be difficult for them because when they incarnate, their idea of love is just being unconditional with everyone all the time, which ends up causing a lot of self-abandonment, wounding, and pain when it comes to self-love. So they love positive feedback. Hadarians really, really benefit from positive feedback. You know, some personality types or individuals or star groups will do very well with constructive criticism or any kind of sort of negative feedback that can help them to grow. But Hadarians, because they're so sensitive and heart-centered, they really need the positive feedback rather than the constructive criticism. And another aspect of this is that Hadarians, because they love that positive feedback, they tend to look for experiences that offer instant gratification because of that. Because positive feedback from the universe is essentially instant gratification. And because Hadarians come from such a love-based vibration, which in my opinion is more up into the fifth dimensional realm of existence, things occur much more quickly at the fifth dimensional realm. They manifest much more efficiently because there's less resistance of a physical nature. And love is the vibration that is the creation of reality. So when we are as tuned into that as we can be, we manifest much more quickly. And so when Hadarians come into the physical realm here in the more third, fourth dimensional reality that we currently exist in on Earth, manifestation is fairly quick, but it's a lot slower than what they're accustomed to. And so instant gratification, due to this inherent impatience, is also quite common among Hadarians, as well as a multitude of other starseed races that incarnate into human lives. So, because Hadarians love fun, they love positive feedback, they love instant gratification, they can tend to be very spontaneous individuals when they are expressing through a human. Humans tend to be spontaneous for the most part as well. So when we put those two together, Hadarians can sometimes jump into things with both feet, very enthusiastic, sometimes without thinking before they do. This can be a positive quality, a positive trait, but it just needs to be tempered with a little bit more patience and a little bit more rationality to help balance and counteract some of that spontaneity that can, if not applied correctly, lead to some detrimental or potentially challenging situations. So Hadarians are here to learn unconditional love with themselves. And this makes them very socially oriented because every other relationship that we have in this life is a reflection of the relationship that we have with ourselves. And oftentimes that is a reflection of the relationship we had with our primary caregivers. So the focus of a Hadarian existence is very relationship centric. Not all of, but a lot of their life lessons or soul purpose will be dedicated most often to relationship-centric themes or learning. It really does depend on the soul type as well. And again, that's something that we can look at with the soul realignment Akashic record readings that I offer. If you guys are interested in that, you can find more information in the description box below this video. But for the most part, if we're just looking at soul group, yes, Hadarians, very relationship-centric themes of experience and soul lessons. And again, they can struggle with that aspect of human or earth realm conditional love. They might not know how to apply that, how to set boundaries, and how to fully love themselves. So there can be a lot of self-sabotage, disempowerment, themes that relate to poor impulse control or recklessness. Again, this can be an aspect that is needing more self-love, because if we love ourselves, we don't put ourselves in risky situations that could be detrimental. We think things through. We are more cautious in a balanced way. Of course, spontaneity can be positive. It's really just about how we apply it. Some of the other aspects of Hadarians, when it goes more into sort of the dysfunctional leaning, can be recklessness, restlessness, and codependency, like I mentioned before. So that is something for Hadarian souls to kind of understand and work with, learn more about those aspects of themselves and any tools or things that they could apply in how to heal or work with self-love in a productive way so that they have boundaries and can therefore experience very powerful, positive, balanced relationships in this life and lives potentially here on Earth. So that's all I have about Hadarians. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about their planet, what they look like. I do know kind of how to work with them energetically through Reiki and through the Akashic readings that I offer. And I did want to make this as the next video in the series in honor of my mom, who was a Syrian primary soul group with a Hadarian underlay. So an underlay is when they spend very little time in the soul group of origination, and then spend a lot more time and begin to identify with the soul group that they go to next. So my mom moved to Hadar at some point in her soul journey. She stayed there for a long time, and she became a very loving, although she always was, soul. And so I really just wanted to honor her memory with this Starseed Origin episode. So thank you all so much for listening, and I know my mom's listening too. So love you guys. Bye.